Hey, this is Helen Martis, and how is everybody this week? And so it's Top Tips Thursday, and today we are going to be talking about smoking. I've got a question from one of the people that I'm mentoring over in the United States, Sally, and she sent me some questions about smoking. So this is what she said. She said, "Hi Helen, so I have a client starting next week who wants to quit smoking. From the phone consultation I had with her, it definitely sounds like she has deeper issues." Hey everybody, good to see you guys. And so, with regards to the clients that we see, not everybody has the same issue going on for them. So with some smokers, there's some deep-rooted emotional issues going on. With other smokers, there isn't. So what I have found anecdotally here at HypnoFit is that with weight loss clients, about 85% of them have got deep-rooted emotional issues where we have to get rid of the emotional stuff first before we address the weight loss part of the program so they can have long-term weight loss success. So like I've said many times, anybody who can hypnotize can help a client lose weight in the short term. That's not success. Success is all about helping clients lose weight in the long term. And so with smokers, I've actually found that it's the reverse. So with weight loss clients, I found that about 85% of clients have got deep-rooted emotional issues that we need to eliminate first, and about 15%, they're quite happy with their life. It's just that they've got themselves into some bad habits, and therefore we can put them on a weight loss program straight away. Hey Tanya, hey gorgeous. So if you're on the call today, tell me where you're from, which city you're from, all over the world. Where are you from? We've got nearly 2,700 hypnotherapists on the Hypnosis Business Success Facebook page right now. So tell me where you're from. Okay, but with smoking, it's the reverse. What I have actually found is that about 85% of them actually, it's just a bad habit. They don't have any deep-rooted issues, and we put them on a quit smoking program, and they pretty much can quit smoking if there's no resistance to it. But there are about 15%, Oklahoma City, good to see you, Robert. There are about 15% of smokers who do have deep-rooted emotional issues. Now, if you don't deal with the emotional issues first, they're your clients that will not succeed in the long term. So, we always hear about success rates with quit smoking, that they're so high in our profession, and they are so high because most people who are smoking don't have emotional baggage going on. They've just continued a habit that's continued for so long. But there is a percentage that, unless you eliminate the cause, you're not going to be able to help them with a symptom of smoking. Hey Chantel, how are you, gorgeous? So good to see everybody. Tell me where you're from. What city are you from? And so the question that I have here from Sally from the United States, I'm going to see Sally at the Heartland Hypnosis Conference in 2 weeks, where she's going to be repeating my expert therapist system. So in 2 weeks, I'm going to be in St. Louis, Missouri at the Heartland Hypnosis Conference, and I will be giving a post-conference workshop on my expert therapist system, which is a system out of a box. So it is showing you exactly what you need to do to eliminate emotions, and what you need to do session by session, all the tasks you give clients in between sessions, exactly what you need to do with those resistant clients, how you get them over the line so that they can just let go of their baggage so that you can help them with weight loss or with quit smoking. Lots of love hearts coming on. Good morning, Emma Romano, amazing woman that you are. Good to see you, gorgeous. So I will be at the Heartland Hypnosis Conference in 2 weeks, and Emma's coming with me. Emma Romano will be with me at Heartland. I'm so excited. It's the 4th year in a row, 4th consecutive year that I'll be at Heartland Hypnosis Conference. I was also the keynote speaker there a couple of years ago, and I'll be running 3 presentations and also doing my post-conference workshop. And then the week after, I'll be in New York, where I'll be at HypnoBiz New York and presenting there, of course. So for those of you who are interested in the expert therapist system, just drop me a line and I'll tell you all about it. But this is the question from Sally. So Sally's going to be, because I regressed because, digressed I should say, not regressed. I digressed because Sally, I was just saying she's actually going to repeat the expert therapist system. She did it last year and she'll be doing it again this year. So for anybody who has previously done it, I always offer them the opportunity to do it again for free because it reinforces everything that I have taught the first time. And after they've seen a number of clients in between my training, they're going to hear different things and listen to different things and apply different things. So it's very valuable to do it again, very valuable to do it for a second, third, fourth, fifth time. So this is the question. The question is that Sally said that from her conversation with her client, it was obvious that this client had deep-rooted emotional issues, even though she was calling about quit smoking. And so her question is, should she do my expert therapist system first before she does the quit smoking sessions? Yes, absolutely you must. So when the client has deep-rooted emotional issues, we need to make sure we get rid of those first, exactly the way you wrote it in your email, with the breakthrough questions in the first session, anger in the second session, the rest of the emotions, limiting beliefs, and then we do the quit smoking sessions. Now, the question that Sally also has is, what about homework tasks and tasks in between for smoking? Is there anything in particular you do or recommend for smoking? Do you recommend that they listen to recordings in between sessions? Look, I always think it's a great idea for clients to listen to your voice in between sessions. So what I recommend that you do is, hey, Nikki, beautiful woman, I love you. Good to see you. And Victoria. What I recommend that you do is that you have some generic recordings. So here at HypnoFit, we've got generic recordings on depression, generic recordings on anxiety, on sleep, on weight loss, on sugar addiction, on smoking, on everything, so that with whatever program our clients come to us for, they will have some generic recordings that they can listen to in between, which is not going to take us any more time to produce. We just send them a copy of our Dropbox file. But if they do need any specific recordings, specific to their issue, then that we do that for them later on as well. But it's always a good idea to have generic recordings. Now, the reason why it's always a good idea for your clients to listen to your voice in between sessions is that, think about it, the next time they come into the next session, they hear your voice, boom, they go down. Because they're used to, it's an anchor that you've given them, they listen to your voice and they go down. So that's why I always make sure that with the hypnotherapists that work here at HypnoFit, so I've got Yeleni, Chrissy and Monica who work here, and pretty soon Christian's going to be working here as well. So I'm going to have 4 hypnotherapists working here at HypnoFit, that all the recordings are with their voice. So even though there's recordings with my voice, I don't want to be giving them my voice if I'm not their therapist. So it's very important that your clients listen to your voice in between sessions, so that as soon as they come into the session, there's not much that you need to do for them to go into the state that they need to. They're already used to relaxing and going into that trance state just by listening to your voice. So yes, I absolutely recommend that you do give them a recording in between session. A good one to give them before you do your stop smoking session would be just a nice relaxation one. So right at the very beginning, if you give them a nice relaxation hypnosis recording, if they're having trouble with sleep, a nice sleep one, whatever you need to do so that they can actually hear your voice in between sessions. Now, another task, there's a number of tasks that I give my smokers to do. I'm a big believer in tasks, big believer in the client making conscious effort in between sessions and not just relying on what happens in the session. They take responsibility this way, they're accountable this way, they're in the mindset and the headspace to achieve outstanding results. So there's a number of smoking tasks that I give. I will be teaching all of those tasks to my Masters Immersion group in May and October this year, June and November next year at the Gold Coast. where I'll be taking everybody through a bigger program of what I do for weight loss exactly, what I do for smoking exactly, and so on. But I'll give you an example of a task that I give for smokers in between sessions. So I think it's a good idea to introduce a pattern interrupt. So with the smokers that come here, we don't in the first session do a quit smoking session, we prepare them for the quit smoking session. So in between sessions, I get them to complete a habit tracker. And again, everyone who comes to Masters Immersion will get all my templates and everything that we use. And on the habit tracker, we get the smokers to write down every time they have a cigarette, what emotion they were feeling, what trigger. So the trigger and the emotion is two different things. The trigger might be having a coffee, the emotion might be feeling stressed. Don't know. Or it could be that there's no emotion, there's just simply a trigger. So you really don't know. But those two things are completely different. What's the emotion? What's the trigger? And so what you want to do is know all that information so that you, when it comes to the stop smoking session, you completely break those triggers from the pattern. So first of all, what we're doing with the task is making them very aware of their own habits as to when they're actually having a cigarette by writing everything down. Now, if they can't be bothered writing every time they have a cigarette down on their habit tracker, then they can't be bothered to stop smoking. So there's no reason why they wouldn't. And then after they've done that for about 5 days, for the last few days, what I get them to do is have a pattern interrupt whereby they can have the cigarette, but the moment they feel like they're not desperate for that cigarette. So for instance, you know, if you think about cigarettes, what usually happens is the moment before the client smokes, is the highest point in time where they're really craving a cigarette. And then as they continue to have that cigarette, that desire goes down. So from 0 to 10, the last few days before they come in for their quit smoking session, what I get them to do is if the desire is less than number 8, then they don't have a cigarette. If it's over number 8, sure, light up the cigarette, but they must get rid of it as soon as the desire goes to less than 8. So there's a lot of cigarettes that are getting thrown away the last few days before they come to their quit smoking session. And the other thing is that to start disconnecting everything that they do with smoking. So for instance, if they're smoking and on the phone talking, they're not allowed to do that. They can only do one task or the other. If they're driving and they're smoking, they can't do that. They either do one or the other. If they're going outside a building and talking to friends, they can't do that. They do one or the other. So we're isolating the smoking habit from all the other triggers that they have in their life. So when they come into their quit smoking session, they've already listened to your voice. So they're accustomed to listening to your voice and going into trance. They're already very consciously aware of their habits, and we've already disconnected the triggers with a pattern interrupt with the pattern of smoking. And so when you do the quit smoking session, and yes, the question was, Fork on the Road is a brilliant script for that. There's so many, but that is a brilliant script depending on how you use it as well. So during my retreat, I do tell my hypnotherapist how I use it in a very different way. It's a very, very powerful script for bad habits. Absolutely, I would recommend that you use that. So they come into that session completely and totally prepared from the mindset all the way down in terms of what they're supposed to be doing. And so you give them that quit smoking session in a very powerful way, and they won't want to touch it. They'll be disgusted by it. They'll feel sick at the thought of cigarettes. So like I said, there are many, many tasks that I give clients for stop smoking. There's some of them, and if you are interested in doing Masters Immersion, I cannot recommend it enough now that I've prepared it. It's interesting that when you do a course, how did Masters Immersion occur for me? Basically, with the hypnotherapists that work here at HypnoFit, when they ask me questions and I would say, well, this is what you do, and this is what you do, and this is what you do, they say, well, Helen, what they said to me was, you need to do another course, an advanced course, so that you can cover all this stuff. And I thought, oh, well, I didn't realize that. I didn't think about that. And so now my retreat has gone from 3 days to 5 days. So we have a 5-day retreat in May and a 5-day retreat in October this year. The people that have completed the expert therapist system, so the prerequisite for doing my master's immersion is that you must have done expert therapist. You must have done that first. So if you've done that first, you can repeat it again for free. All you do is pay for your food, and then you get into master's immersion and do that. Now, I'm giving so much value with master's immersion. I'll be doing quit smoking. I'm doing quit smoking, weight loss. I'm also doing past life regression and talking about resistant clients and so many things. It's like action-packed. I know that the value is definitely way more than I'm charging for it, because it's the first time I'm offering master's immersion. It is going to go up like everything else has. So this is your chance. Somebody has locked in yesterday. Jamina Tubbing from Perth, she locked in November 2020 to come to my master's immersion because she wanted to hold on to the price. So if you want to lock in the price, it's definitely going up. So I know that it is, because it's worth so much more than what I'm charging. So it's a complete system, everything you need to do in your hypnotherapy practice. So if you're interested in any of that, please email me at helen@helenmidas.com, HELENMITAS.com. If you have any questions for Top Tips Thursday, for live Q&A, send them to helen@helenmidas.com. Together, stronger. In this day and age where consciousness is rising across the globe, and hypnotherapy is at the forefront of that, where people want a safe, natural solution to life's biggest challenges, where they don't want a pill-popping band-aid. We are what people are asking for. We are offering that safe, natural solution where people are able to connect to their inner to overcome their biggest challenges. If you're not making money out of hypnotherapy, from somebody who is, because there's a formula there. As soon as the formula is applied, you will have a successful business. There are plenty of clients for all of us. I don't care whether you're living in the middle of the United States in some rural town or up in some mountain in the middle of Australia. It doesn't matter where you are. I have people on my mentoring system all over the world, 10 countries across the world, and it doesn't matter where you are, okay? So that's just a limiting belief that where I'm living means that I don't have clients. There are people everywhere, and there are many different ways that we can access people these days. They don't even have to walk into our premises. And so if you're not working in the business that you should be working in, if you are still driving into the city and working for someone else when your passion is elsewhere, then you need to do something about it. You need to change that. You don't want to come to the end of your life and think, oh, I wish I did that. I wish I took that risk. I wish I was that courageous. Because at the end of the day, courage is your number one way to move forward. You need to be courageous. That is the number one thing that will take you from where you are to where you need to go. The number two thing is to follow someone who's already been there. There's nothing that I've done completely on my own. Every time I find a gap, I find who's on the path before me. That's what I do. So as an example, I haven't had a business coach for a while, but I have just employed a business coach. Her name is Sharon Jerd, and she is she was awarded Franchisor of the Year in Australia. Why have I got her? Because she is ahead of where I want to be. So she has a franchise around the world, and it's a successful franchise, and she's also a hypnotherapist, but her franchise model is not on hypnotherapy. So I'm going to learn from someone who's already done it. I'm not just going to make it up. I'm going to invest my funds and find out, how do I do this so that I can make my licensing option for practitioners so valuable that it's going to be a no-brainer for them. And how do I do that? If I make it up, I'm not going to succeed in the time frame that I want to. So I'm following the person who's already done it. I've always done that in my personal life and in my business life. Who's already doing what I want to do? Who's doing it? And then I'll just basically follow their model because they're doing it, they're succeeding, and therefore I'll follow their model and I'll get the same results. It's a no-brainer. So just to finish off, If your heart knows that you should be following a certain path, then do that. Do that. Don't stand still and wait for everything to pass you by so that this whole movement of hypnotherapy and consciousness across the globe passes you by because you didn't have the courage to do what you needed to do. Okay, so signing off, have the courage, go forward and do what you need to do. It'll be worth it. Okay, see you later. Bye.